Welcome to Wawasan Wire. Today we're talking about the escalating political rhetoric here in Malaysia and what it really means for our national unity.
Yes, it feels like some politicians are, well, constantly turning minor incidents into major crises.
Exactly. Using public anger almost like a tool. And you see this approach where every little misstep becomes this huge battleground. Makes you wonder about the real intentions.
It really does. It's quite a contrast to the kind of mature discourse we probably need. And we're seeing this play out very clearly with the recent inverted Malaysian flag incident.
Ah, yes, the flag incident. Akmal, the UMNO Youth Chief, has been incredibly vocal.
He certainly has, and his actions are now getting thoroughly scrutinized.
Yeah.
What do you think when you see politicians opting for confrontation over, say, dialogue in situations like that?
Well, does it actually serve the public? Or does it just add fuel to the fire?
That's the key question. And it brings us to what Howard Lee, the political education director of the Democratic Action Party, had to say.
Right. Lee commented on Akmal's very public stance. He mentioned that when Akmal insisted on a protest, basically to show strength, Lee's party chose to step back.
And importantly, Lee framed that not as weakness, but as a kind of greater wisdom, desire for social peace.
What was his reasoning there?
Well, what's fascinating is why. Lee argued that confronting Akmal directly, even if it felt perhaps satisfying in the moment, it would make them no different from Akmal himself. He used the words arrogance and intimidation to describe Akmal's approach towards the hardware store owner involved.
So mirroring the tactics.
Precisely. And Lee really emphasized the danger of street confrontations. He said any spark could ignite conflict, and society ultimately pays the price for that.
And it wasn't just about avoiding a street fight, was it? Lee also talked about the timing.
Yes, he highlighted that August, which should be about national celebration, right?
It's a
Merdeka Month.
national one, yeah.
It was instead turned into, I think he called it a provocative political show by Akmal. And all this over an unintentional inverted flag.
So Lee's position is clear. Disrespecting the flag. Okay, that needs to be dealt with by law. But an unintentional mistake.
Is not a national catastrophe, in his words.
Yeah.
It doesn't warrant that level of escalation.
This also touches on the role of public prosecution, doesn't it?
It does. Lee was highly critical of Akmal apparently pressuring the prosecuting authorities for criminal action against the Penang store owner.
He called that using public prosecution as a political hostage?
Yes, a very pointed phrase. Lee argued it violates the spirit of the rule of law, and it plants seeds of social insecurity, basically questioning if justice can be influenced politically.
It sounds like Howard Lee sees Akmal's actions almost as a throwback. Something from a past political era.
That's the sense you get. He reflected that such arrogant and supremacist displays might have had a place or a position, as he put it, when one party dominated everything.
But things have changed.
The people's votes, Lee says, have changed that reality. In connecting this to the bigger picture, Lee stressed something crucial. Akmal's party, UMNO, is part of the unity government now.
Right, that's a key point.
And Lee stated the government's direction is meant to be towards a more tolerant Malaysia, emphasizing multicultural inclusion, valuing diversity.
Moving away from that sort of high-pressure, harsh parent style of government?
Towards a caring, inclusive parent, was his analogy. The clear implication is that Akmal needs to align with this vision, the government's stated vision.
He also had some pretty blunt words specifically for youth leaders, didn't he?
Very direct. Lee said a youth leader should be a radical, rational voice, an idealistic standard bearer, not someone engaging in unreasonable radicalism or blind idealization.
So setting a standard for what youth leadership should look like.
Exactly. And his conclusion on Akmal was stark. He said Akmal, through these public actions, has, quote, proven himself completely incapable of leading his party or the generation towards the right national direction.
Wow, that's a very strong indictment of his approach.
Extremely strong.
So wrapping this up, what does it all mean for us? Howard Lee's statements really draw a line in the sand, don't they, between these confrontational tactics and the ongoing call for unity.
It really does. It forces you to consider what kind of leadership genuinely serves Malaysia's best interests moving forward, especially in this new political landscape.
It highlights that critical difference, perhaps, between principled advocacy and just, well, divisive showmanship.
And the future of our society really does seem to hinge on how these different approaches are navigated by those in power.
Remember to like and subscribe for more videos like this.